is not a fashion video. Darn. But I have Susan as my look. What is today's video? Today's video is a travel journey. That's it. We are going traveling today. And where are we going to go? Hang on and I'll tell you. But let me explain this, what's behind me. What's behind me is the back of a canvas that Early has made. It is a genuine sailboat canvas that he covered a piece of 2-inch styrofoam that is a 3x4. And Earl has out for several years started sketching. And here's one of his sketches right here. And I said, honey, you need to paint those. Those are awesome. So he started painting. And these paintings are very, very colorful. And he just had this inclination that, you know what? A painting is lovely, but each painting deserves a story. So, right here, he wrote a story for each one of his paintings, and he has done several of them. And this one is called Forget Me Not, and the painting is also called Forget Me Not. And he has signed each story and dated it and put a fingerprint on each story for authenticity. So, if anything ever happens to Earl, I got the original. So there you go. Anyway, I digress. So let me show you a little bit about this painting, and then we're going to hop on the journey wagon. Okay? Hold on. Let me turn this around, and I want to show you a little something about this picture. It's on this side. Hang on. Okay. What Earl does, he created something, or he does something that's called flow-through border. So we don't put frames around these paintings because you would cover up the loveliness of the painting, because the bottom, the sides, and the top are all painted. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to show you this side because it flows through the border. Can you see that right there? Okay, now I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to show you the painting. It's a little bit heavy. Oh, and I want to tell you also that if you want to take a looky look at some of his other paintings, he has a website. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. He does have Twitter, but he does have a website, and it's called PUEBLA Mexican Art at yolasite.com. Is that right, cameraman? Is this the good? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's PUEBLA Mexican Art at yolasite.com. Okay? Write it down. PUEBLA Mexican Art. yolasite.com. Now, okay, let's go on our journey. Because I said this is a travel video. Where are we going? We are going to Puebla, Mexico. This is Puebla, Mexico. And right up here, this is the volcano that is located in Puebla, Mexico. And it is called Popocatépetl volcano. Say that 3 times fast. Popocatépetl, Popocatépetl, Popocatépetl. But the villagers call it Popo. So here we go. We're going to go on our journey, but I do want to point out a couple places because we're going to do a little stopping along the way. We're going to stop at right here, Tienda de Lona, and this is the canvas shop. Can you see the Tienda de Lona? I think I said that right. How do you like I threw a little accent in there? Tienda de Lona. Now, we're also going to go to the church, and we're going to go to Rosie's Cantina. Music would play and Rosie would whirl. Different name. Anyway, but we're going to go to several of these places in Puebla, Mexico. Now, I'm going to sit down off to the side because I'm going to read this. It's very enjoyable. And I want you to take a look at each place in the painting, and you can just imagine. It's going to be a journey in your imagination, this is like an audio book, but it's an audio page. Okay, here we go with Forget Me Not by Earl Pruitt. Every picture needs a story, and here is mine. My old friend Raul found Jose, a small boy, at a dump, not looking for clothes or fun things, but he was digging for food missed by the other poor villagers and the birds of Puebla, Mexico. Looking all day just to extend his young life one more hour. Jose was born with facial deformities. He was so ugly that his own parents brought him to the dump when he was a toddler. He was brought there as a piece of trash and thrown out to die. They were ashamed of how he looked and how the other families of the village considered him cursed. Their thoughts were to throw him away and remove the curse and the humiliation that they suffered. Some villagers did take pity on him and gave him some of their old food. Now, it eased his crying and helped, so they thought it would also ease their guilt. Somehow Jose survived long enough for Raul to find him. Raul took Jose in as his own and asked that Jose call him uncle. So Raul used Jose to help around his canvas shop known as Tienda de Lona. Raul taught Jose everything about canvas. How to make it, and then how to take the canvas and make it into something useful, such as sails for small boats and larger ships, awnings, small tents, and other valuable needs. Now, Raul told the boy that the best thing you could ever do with canvas is to paint a picture of life. It was on this one warm summer day I was passing through the village of Puebla, and I stopped by to see my friend Raul. He had become a very old man, and Jose was now in his mid-40s. Raul asked me to be his guest for the evening, and little did I know that would be the last time I would see my dear old friend alive. Jose spoke with me after we laid Raul to rest and told me that there have been very few people that have been kind to him in his life, and I was one of them. He asked me to listen to his life story and then paint a picture in memory of his love, just as Raul had said it could be done on canvas. I agreed, and here's what he told me. I was so hideous growing up that people hated me. My parents abandoned me and left me to die. Raul took me in and gave me hope and a future. He taught me the purpose of canvas and how it could make many dreams come true. He told me of a cantina in the village where a man owned a bar tab of $6, and to pay the debt, he gave his daughter to the bartender. This little girl was named Rosie. She became the bartender's slave, and her life was hell. She cleaned floors, tables, dishes, the spit cans on the floor. And as she grew older, the bartender found that she was more valuable as a whore. Time continued on, and the bartender also passed away, and surprisingly, he left the cantina to Rosie. She finally had her freedom, and every night I would look through my window, hear the music, and watch as she would whirl across the dance floor. Finally, I had the courage to venture into the cantina, and yes, I fell in love with Rosie. After everyone would leave at the end of the evening, we would talk for hours, and I found that Rosie was quite like me. She was dead, but yet alive. We grew closer as the days flew by. It was one Sunday afternoon when our lives would change drastically. Our village of Puebla is near the volcano Popocatépetl, and the people call it Popo. The sleepy volcano was no longer sleepy. Villagers were running back and forth and screaming for their lives. Popo is erupting! All I could do was think of Rosie. I ran to the cantina and I yelled for Rosie. I couldn't find her. I searched everywhere and she couldn't be found. I then ran to the church to ask God to help me find her. And kneeling at the altar was Rosie. Rosie, I cried. Popo is erupting and we must flee for our lives. Rosie answered, no, I will stay here. There's nothing in my future. My cantina is going to be destroyed. And then my only choice is to be a whore again. I will not go back to that. I paused and then said, Rosie, you have a future with me. I love you, Rosie. Marry me. At that point, the priest came rushing in. He was on his way to safety. Padre, please wait one small moment. Please, Padre, marry us. If this is our only time to be happy in our lives, please, Padre, marry us. Our wedding was so fast, but yet so beautiful. Once our wedding was over, Rosie wanted to rush back to her cantina to gather her small savings that she had hidden. It was then that she was killed by a lava flow from Popo. I will always remember my Rosie as she danced and whirled in her cantina as the music played. Jose said that this was his story, and if I would, please let others know of his love for Rosie and how he would not forget her. This is my story, fact or fiction, it's your choice. And this is the story, Forget Me Not. And thank you for coming with me on a journey to Puebla, Mexico, and Rosie's Cantina, Tienda de Luna, and this is me, Susan. Thanks for